Unemployment reaches a 16-year high.
This is very, very serious, and as I say, it is hitting our young people harder than anybody else. Yet despite that, the government is not bringing in that additional help for young people for months and months to come.
The Governor of the Bank of England responds to those unemployment figures, warning that the path to economic recovery won't be easy.
The underlying need for repair of balance sheets means that the path of recovery is likely to be slow and uncertain.
Well, the Office for National Statistics says the jobless rate jumped by 48,000 in the 3 months to December.
It brings the total number of unemployed people in Britain to 2.67 million, and it means the jobless rate is, as you see there, standing now at 8.4%.
And when you go into the detail, there are some really quite disturbing patterns emerging. We know obviously about the increase in youth unemployment. That's gone up by a further 22,000, so that's still on that upward trajectory. But women, this is an interesting one, women in particular seem to be vulnerable to losing their jobs. Of the 48,000 increase in unemployment over the past quarter, 32,000 were women losing their jobs. So much of the burden appears to be borne by women, and significantly older women. Over the past year, there has been a 20% rise in the number of women over 50 out of work. Now, when you try and work out why that is, I imagine a large part of the reason will be because of the reduction in public sector jobs, where women tend to have a larger role, particularly in lower paid jobs. And that seems to be being reflected in those figures, that women in particular are bearing a particularly heavy burden from the rise in unemployment. The other interesting thing I think, is the way we're becoming more and more a part-time economy, and that the fall in full-time jobs to some extent is being masked by the rise in part-time jobs. The number of people working part-time now is at a record level. It has never been so high since records began.
Unemployed for the first time in my life.
Experts have predicted slow growth.
Competing for the same kind of jobs.
To be honest with you, I've given up.
Why?
I'm sort of about, the conversations I'm having with people. I made a comment made. I am trying to use my experiences and trying to create something of my own. Trying to get funding to develop my own sort of work, because I've got a lot of experience and I've done a lot of things, so I know I've got a lot to give. And I had one comment that was made to me, because it was like, from a person giving business advice, and bearing in mind I'm not a businesswoman, that's not my background, firing questions at me about viability and all these business terms I don't understand. And also I felt quite stressed about it, and I said, well, if it doesn't work, I'll find a job. And the comment I got back was, well, at your age, you've got more chance of making this work than getting a job. And I was asked when I was interviewed by the job centre, and I was like, because I've been, I've done a degree, I've done the postgrad, I've done every training there is going that is related. And it was like, yeah, but what else can you do? Because there's no jobs in your area. You're a woman of 56, so what else can you do? So I just said, well, I can clean. And then before I know it, they were finding me opportunities on their computer for cleaning. It's not like it's that, I've contributed a lot, and I've never been on benefits. I've brought up 6 children, I've educated myself, I've got to 56. Not so many years ago, I was in a position where I was looking at, maybe I could retire at 60. Then that got took away from women, And not only now could I not retire at 60, because fortunately I have an husband who works, so otherwise I'd be on the breadline. We're going into debt every month because of also my earnings, But my future's completely changed. I went from potentially being able to retire at 60 to now that's gone. Being unemployed and needing to earn money. My money's not pin money.
No.
It pays bills. Going into debt, and the longer and longer it goes on, where's it going? And what help is there out there for women? I know everyone's got issues, but...
Sure.
The UK's unemployment rate has increased to a 16-year high after another rise in the jobless total. It's gone up 48,000 in the quarter to December. The total now 2.67 million.
Well, I think the government spokespeople have sounded very complacent today. The fact is, we've seen a big rise in women's unemployment. We've seen a shift from full-time to part-time work. Public job cuts outweighing the private jobs created by 12 to 1, and a big rise in long-term unemployment for young people. And if we don't act, we will pay a long-term price as a society, because you can't just get rid of long-term unemployment quickly. We saw that in the 1980s. I fear we're making the same mistake again. And I do think the government's got to drop the complacency and start talking about what can be done.